draw. Eggnog. Can't beat it. And coffee. My wife got me started on this. It's hard to stop. Alright, let's talk windows. And I do apologize. I think the audio is probably a little echoey. I'm just using an on-camera mic. I think I should probably have a mic closer to me. I might cut down some of this vibration. So still, this is the first time I've shot video in here with audio. So gonna figure this out and see how this sounds once I get back home. But let's talk about the windows. This strategy for putting in the windows is what I had in my mind from first conception of this cabin. When I first sat down with paper to design it, this is kind of what came to mind first, and I've been super self-conscious about it. There was even times where I shot video of myself talking about what I was going to do, and I was going to put it up on YouTube and ask you guys if this is going to work and what you guys thought about this, and I was too afraid someone was going to talk me out of it. For me, this is an artistic expression of this cabin. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a professional builder. I am, I consider myself an artist. I'm a photographer. I've done sculpture. I've done art my whole life. To me, this cabin was an art project. And so for me, what I wanted is just this seamless window frame. I want to be in this cabin. I want to, like right now, right behind you and around this whole area, I'm looking out into the forest. I saw a coyote while I was recording earlier. It's incredible to be in this position and feel like you're sitting in the forest. These kind of represent trees. They're a little too bright. I think as they age, it's going to start to gray out. Maybe I'll age them a little bit. But the idea is that you're sitting here in a nice warm cabin, having a hot cup of coffee. Snow's falling out the window when you're watching the deer walk through the forest. And I didn't want it to feel like there's a window with a crank or a screen. I just wanted clear glass. Speaking of clear glass, these are very dirty. I have not cleaned them at all since I even put them in. So they're covered with sawdust, fingerprints, I got the suction cup marks. I know there's a particular way for me to clean this acrylic, which we'll be talking about in a second, but I have not processed that properly yet, so I just didn't want to do nothing to them. I'm gonna clean them properly when I get the right, rag and stuff like that. So yeah, speaking of acrylic, this is not real glass, and a big reason for that is, well, a few reasons. One, cost. All of the windows in this whole cabin, 5 foot by 3.5 foot. This one behind me, 4 big windows in the loft. All of that plexiglass costed me $1,200 Canadian, so it's like probably less than $1,000 US. So I just couldn't beat the price. I would have spent that on just one piece of glass if I had gone with thick glass. Because if I start going glass, I would go thick, and then it becomes really heavy, and it becomes hard to install. And there's a whole lot of reasons why I didn't go glass. And then the other factor was that in order for me to kind of slip them into the spot, I needed a little bit of flex. Like I needed to be able to kind of bend them and then pop them in. So that's what I did. I cut them to the shape with about an extra inch of length. And I had cut out these mortises in the posts back when I was first prepping these beams before I installed it all. So which kind of tells you that this was the plan from the very beginning. These mortises were cut into these posts before they even got put up. And the whole idea was to be able to just put the glass in, which I did, and having that ability to bend it a little allowed me to kind of bend it and then pop it into place. And then I just cut these pieces, these essentially splines, to just sit right into that gap. I took that width minus the width of the glass and just cut them to the exact shape and fine-tuned, and then just pounded them in. And they're firm in there. Most of them I don't even need nails, so it's just sitting in there nice and tight. And yeah, I'm just very happy about that. You know, the other big factor was hopefully, you know, we have some wild times in here. We have a lot of fun, and, you know, playing guitar and drinking whiskey with my buddies and kids, and, you know, I didn't want to have to worry about someone banging a chair against the glass and cracking the glass, and, you know, worst case scenario, that, you know, then you have to get tempered glass to make sure it's safe, and again, that cuts costs. So I just thought, you know, if $100 to replace a piece of plexiglass is really nothing, it's easy to do. In the worst case, it's not going to break. The worst case scenario is just going to get scratched, and so be it. It gets scratched, not the end of the world. And if it's really bad, I replace it. So I know one of the big downsides is that it's not going to have a lot of R value as far as insulation goes. So, you know, I really don't know the answer to that. You know, I know people are going to be asking, how's the R value and how does the cabin stay warm? At this point, it's still too early to tell. I can say that even, you know, this time of the year, that fireplace gets going and we're opening the door to let the heat out, and I don't even have the loft closed in yet at this point. So there's just a big flow of hot air going right out the cabin. I still got some gaps in the floor and I haven't changed, so like there's a lot of airflow, but it gets hot. And my reason for having confidence in that is that I sleep in canvas tents a lot. And, you know, in canvas tents, I'm laying there, I see big gaps where the smokestack's going out, and, you know, it's minus 30 or let's say minus 40 for the sake of Celsius and Fahrenheit. They're the same at that temperature. Maybe not quite minus 40, but pretty cool temperatures, and I'm boiling hot inside of a canvas tent. So if I can get a canvas tent to be hot enough to sleep in through the night, I'm pretty sure a log cabin's gonna suffice being as small as it is. And this is not a permanent residence. You know, it's fun for us to light the fire. You know, when we come here, it's the most exciting part. It's gonna be getting that fire going, getting the kettle boiling, and we're often gonna be cooking on that and boiling water, and so we're gonna want to have that fireplace roaring anyways. And so I'm not that concerned about the heat. We'll see how that plays out in the long run, but you know, for me, the pros outweighed the con of just going with thin plexiglass. You know, another reason to go so thin is budget again. My goal was to build this cabin for under $10,000. I was looking at the numbers last night, and I think I did it. My biggest expenses were the metal roof and the fireplace and stovepipe and the plexiglass. And so, you know, those three things added up to about $7,000 plus about $3,000 in like tar paper and just a bunch of little, you know, some plywood for the roof and staples and whatever else little pieces that I need. But basically I built this whole thing for under $10,000. Granted, all the wood was free because I self-harvested it, and U2 fasteners supplied me with all the big screws, all the big fasteners, so I didn't have to pay for that, and those are expensive too. But yeah, as far as money that I put out, yeah, less than $10,000, and thanks to my sponsors, I actually made a profit building this cabin. So, you know, pretty cool cabin. I can literally say that YouTube built this cabin, and I actually made a profit while building it. So I'm quite proud about that. And I think it's gonna be a lot of good times here. Fireplace, stovepipe, I should mention that. If you saw in the video, the stovepipe's not as high as it should be yet. It was a snowy, wet, slippery roof, and so I just got it about 4 feet above the roof, and I have another 3 feet of pipe I'm going to put up there as soon as that roof's dry enough for me to feel comfortable to walk up on the roof. But even at about 3 feet lower than I want it, I'm still getting, you know, really great draw, and the smoke seems to be pulling up. I got nothing pulling towards the peak of my roof, so that was my biggest concern, is that the heat of the roof would pull the smoke towards it, but that has not happened at all. So all's good there. I don't know, if you guys have any more questions, leave them in the comments, and yeah, I'm just going to keep on going. Thanks for watching.